All right. Madfoot Sim Racing. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And this is City of Heroes, and this is a little video that I just put together for you guys. And, you know, it's just to help out any of the players who need it. And we're going to let you know that, first of all, in the description, there are links for a list of all the Emote effects and a list of all the Emote images. Also, that there is a sample of what must be filled out and copied, pasted, or retyped and put into the chat area, I guess you could say, to create a macro like what is down in the lower right of the screen right now. I have a whole bunch of them created so that this will go a lot smoother. And then you can have them on your own, and then you can just quick do it. Please note that you must have at least 2 costumes to change between to do this. Also note that City of Heroes recognizes the upper left costume slot as 0 and then progresses to the right with 1, 2, etc. and then down in the bottom it keeps going to from left to right and progresses higher numbers. I believe it stops at 9, so it gives you a total of 10, but you have to earn the last couple as your character progresses higher in level. And with that jargon, let's get to some quick changes done here. And I also have a few notes here. You see me like looking down at my notes. The emote icons, as you can see down in the lower right of the screen, I have a whole mess of different ones here that I've chosen. There are over 2,500 emote icons, which includes like repeats, although the colors have changed, which gives you, because it gives you a whole bunch of options to choose from, but they do them from what the characters use, so the computer can see them and the game can see them, and they're also listed by powers. You know, you see them in your power tray, and what I have down there in my trays that I've used. And then that way, you know, if you've got, say, you know, 1 power and you've got like 5 of them that are all going to be relatively the same color, you don't want your quick changes to be the same color as that, so you can do them. And then there are like 35 different emote effects demonstrated here. That doesn't mean that there are or are not more. If there are more or less, or if it, well, there wouldn't be less, but if there are more, you know, let me know, and you know, I'll do some more or another video or something like that with a couple more if there are more. The 2 in here that I'll maybe pause on a little bit are the Peacebringer and the Warshade, which my character is not one of those 2. I don't want to say classes or characters, or my tune isn't like that. So the Peacebringer and Warshade doesn't work for my character, or this particular character. He's not somebody that I'm going to be advancing. He's just a tune that I'm using for this particular video. And with all that, let's see what else I got here going on my notes here. I have minimized all the windows except for the power trays that I put all the quick change macros in. As I hover the mouse over each one of them, you know, you see that you don't see anything when I'm doing it down here. If I hover over it for just a brief second, like I'm doing here, then you see like I'm doing on stone block there, then it comes up and it tells you what it's actually going to do, just like with any power or anything like that. It tells you which effect is going to go into effect, because that's the way that I labeled them when I made them. And you'll see that in the description below. And it says Tooltip. So you rewrite that and type over it where it says Tooltip, and you put in what you want it to say. Otherwise, it'll just say Tooltip. And the only one that is out of order, because they're all in alphabetical order, starting at the bottom, and then I just go, and then the next one, and then the next one, and they go into alphabetical order. The only one that's out of order is this one right here, which is BackFlip, and that's to get my bigger tune, which you'll see in just a second, back to this smaller guy, and then he uses all these big ones, or all these ones, to turn into the bigger guy. Okay, and then other than that, ready to go. And the thing is, there's a lot of these that I haven't seen. I've seen probably about like a third of them, and so we'll be going through them at the same time. And so with no further ado, let's kick it off. And he looks anxious. I don't know if it'll mess up his hair or not. All right, and so here we go with the first one. And we'll, you know, I'll list all of these here in the description in case you don't want to go through and pick them out. And then you can rename them if you want, or you can just use them as they are with these, and then you can go through and change the little icon images if you want, you know, the emote images if you want, with the list that I give you. But there's, like I said, there's 2,500 of them, and it takes a second for them to catch up with scrolling down on the list and everything, because it's in like a little spreadsheet that somebody put together, which I don't know who did it, but man, hats off to them, you know. So, but I'll have all that in the description, and let's get started. Okay, so the first one, it says cast. That's just what it said. And so there's my dog. Yep. Copilot Charlie. Cast. And there you go. And I'll be adjusting the view, you know, and going back and forth just so we can see him a little better. And there it goes. He turns into the big guy. And then we go over here to BackFlip. And then he turns back into the small guy. And then we go over to the next one. ConfettiThrow. ConfettiThrow, okay. There you go. Some of them are grandiose and some of them are not. You know, it's just the way they are, but then there's a whole bunch of confetti in the air. And then BackFlip. And you do have to wait like 10 seconds in between them before you can change again, which, you know, I found out the hard way. So I gotta wait like 10 seconds before I can do the next costume change, quick change for my tune, which would be DimensionShift. This is one I do have on one of my other tunes, because I like this one. That's a pretty cool one. I like that one. But, you know, everything is subjective. If you don't like it, don't use it. Maybe use a different one. You know? And then BackFlip again to get him to the small guy. Which is pretty amazing, a big guy like that doing a little backflip. DrinkFormula. Okay. DrinkFormula. Okay. if that was good or bad. It's like, yeah, some squirt or something. Maybe some Mountain Dew. I still gotta wait a second. Backflip. And then we wait a few seconds. And then we can do the next one. EnergyMorph. EnergyMorph, here we come. Maybe not. EnergyMorph. Is it not working? Did we not do it right? Now we can look at it. We got a list of them over here. We didn't do it right. Okay, we didn't type it in right. So that's one thing, is you've got to be very specific with all this stuff. Energy. I just forgot a letter. So we go like this, and this is on the fly. Go over here, CCEnergyMorph up. So we remove from tray, or we could do edit, EnergyMorph. But we want to do EnergyMorph. Okay, okay. Macro, EnergyMorph. Okay. Close this window. And this is all just... So what we're going to do is we're just going to like remove from tray. So there. And when you put the new one in, you have to put it in a chat tray. This is a good way to show you how to do this. You copy and paste it and all that, like I was saying earlier. And then I've fixed it over here on my other screen because I have multiple screens going on. And then I copy it. And then down here in the chat tray, which usually looks like this or whatever, but I'm just going to minimize it down here. And then you turn this on and then paste it, and then just hit return, and it puts it in the first available open slot. You know, you might have like all your attacks or whatever, or offenses or defenses, and you might have that all filled up, and you might have half of the second one filled up, so it'll put it in the first available slot. So then we go EnergyMorph. And there you go. So that's a good way to, my bad, and then a little thing there. And I'll leave that chat tray there in case I've messed up another one. Because, you know, there's only like 35 of them, right? And that was just the 5th one. And then we wait a few seconds. And that was on the fly. You know, I didn't do that on purpose. Backflip. Okay. And then we wait, and then what's the next one? EvilLaugh. EvilLaugh. Okay. Well, that looks pretty cool. So that one's working. Okay, and then the backflip still works. That's good. And then feather burst. Oh, okay. Well, there goes my down pillow. Okay. Backflip. And then feather spin. Ba-boom. There's another pillow gone. Okay. Backflip. And now, fireworks. Oh man. Anybody got a fire extinguisher? Fireworks. Boom. That's not so bad. I was expecting a little more, but I hadn't seen it before, so I don't know. Wait a few seconds. Backflip. So I'm going to expand this here and see how it says, you must wait 4 seconds to change your costume. You must wait 2 seconds. See, I was doing it too soon, and so it tells you in this chat window here how long you still have to wait. So since I don't have that expanded, I can't see it. Okay, so now we're on Fur Burst. There, a whole bunch of fur just went everywhere. So he's shedding like crazy. Backflip. And all these are available. All these emote icons are available on that list. Like I said, there's 2,579. So, yeah. Fur spin. There you go. Okay. My editing skills are not the best at my videos, so I don't have bookmarks, but you can always like pause, and then where I'm hovering over them, you can see what they are. And like I said, I'll have a list that I use where they all work, because I'm correcting them if they don't work as we go, except for like I said, Peacebringer and Warshade, they don't work for this character, for this tune. They might work for yours, I don't know. Gift Burst. That was kind of cool. It got like horns and sounds and everything. There's one emote icon that I could not find, and that was the one for the freebies menu. It looks like a little gift box or whatever, but you know, hey, that's fine. They'd probably save that one for the beta version of the game. Okay. This one's called Howl, and we gotta probably wait a few seconds here. Howl, howl. Okay. Co-pilot, Charlie. You're gonna have to wait. No. Okay. Now we're on Ice Block. That one could be pretty cool if you have a disguise for like a ice person or cold person. Let's see, do a backflip. Inner Will. Okay. Little tiny guy. Show his inner will. That's a pretty cool one. backflip. Light magic. And then we, again, wait a few seconds. And then do a backflip. And then, I don't know how many times we can get struck by lightning without it really affecting our character's intelligence, but here's one time. That'd be good for like an electrical character, I'm sure. But it sounded cool too. You know, they had some sound effects going on. Backflip. Murder of Crows. Okay. This might be like a goth one. I don't know. I haven't seen this one before. That's pretty cool. Shout out to like Brandon Lee and all that. R.I.P. This says Ninja Leap. Oh, he like jumped off the screen. That was pretty cool. Cross your arms at me, buddy. Man, his legs must be getting tired. Nuke. Okay. Backflip. And then oil strike. Black gold is what they called it back in the day. Oil strike. Bam. Okay, so this one is the Peach Bringer. And Peace Bringer doesn't work for this character, for this tune, because he is not a Peace Bringer, or a War Shade, and those are very different kinds of characters. Pressure release. That's kind of a cool one. All right, next, so you do a little backflip here for us. Backflip. Presto change. That was pretty cool. And you know, some of these might be a little bit different if your character is obviously not as huge as this guy. I just made this guy big so you could see the difference between the two different tunes. As I mean, like, I wanted, I mean, normally, or not normally, but my two characters would be the same height and build, and they would just be disguised by clothing or a suit or something like that. Whereas this is more like a bulk size difference between like this guy who's like just a little over 5 feet tall to a 7 foot tall difference. And so here we go, pure energy. And then all of a sudden you see this. I mean, I have him wearing the same clothes, but he's just greater mass and size difference. And I just did that for the video so you can definitely tell they're changing. But then there's certain things that you can see when they're changing that it would be hidden a lot more by the effect when they're changing and they're the same size. And it works a lot better when they're going from the bigger tune to the smaller person, smaller tune. So now we have rainbow. And there you go. We wait a few seconds and then we can do our backflip. Rapid boil. And wait a few seconds. Pause, pause, pause. And then wait a few seconds. Salute. Here's one. I haven't seen this one before. Oh, there you go. I think it's kind of neat to have like this little sound effects going on for these two. Smoke bomb. That was pretty cool. I had to wait a few seconds for the backflip. Ba-boom. Okay. Now we're gonna get dizzy. Go for a spin. Oh man. Okay, backflip it. The athleticism for somebody to be able to do a backflip with that size. Stone block. This would be good for like a geologist. Hey, I just unearthed something. Pun intended. Yeah, that wasn't very funny. Well, let's see what the super serum has to do for us. Yeah. Gets all jacked up. He's panting heavy. Vanguard Sigil, whatever. I don't know. Okay. And then BackFlip. Soon. And then here's the other one, Warshade, which this guy cannot do, but that concludes all of them. And like I said, there's going to be links for everything and a sample of an empty one where you just change around what you have and want to put in there. And don't forget, you can rename the tooltip, and then you put the effect at the end and the emote icon that you've chosen at the beginning of the sample, and you redo it, and then you copy and paste it down here. And then when you highlight it, it turns green, and that just means go ahead and paste it, and then boom, it'll show up in, if I put another one in there, it would show up in one of these empty spots in the tray. If I didn't have anything, it would show up in the first slot, the first available slot. Depending if you have like 7 trays or whatever, it'd show up in the first slot in the 7th tray. For, you know, and so there you go. And there you go. And I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys see one that you like and maybe use it, or maybe 2, so you can use 2 different ones, one going from a disguise to your superhero, back to your disguise, you know, one each way, or maybe use the same one back and forth. Hey, whatever suits your fancy, and enjoy it. Make a more well-rounded character and enjoy it. Mapfit Sim Racing. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. There's a little input from the co-pilot. See you in the next